Welcome to A Profound Sit Down, where we explore the people and partnerships shaping the future of business technology. I'm your host, Kevin Buzza, owner and COO of Profound Technologies. We design and build audiovisual environments for collaboration from Microsoft Teams and Zoom rooms to executive boardrooms and multi-use auditoriums. Today, I'm excited to sit down with someone whose entrepreneurial story is as impressive as his technical expertise. Joining me is Anthony Mongeluzo, President and CEO of PCS, a national recognized IT service firm providing 24-hour support, cybersecurity, and co-managed solutions for over 30,000 users across North America and beyond. Anthony's journey started in a spare bedroom, and now, beyond PCS, he's invested in and helped grow several other companies. We're going to dive into how he does it all. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Anyway, tell me a little bit about what's new with you. I mean, you are the consummate entrepreneur. You got a lot of different businesses. Obviously, PCS started, in a bedroom?
Bedroom, 25 years ago.
Wow.
25 years this December.
And it was you?
It was me.
Yeah.
And the bedroom still exists.
Okay.
My mom will not replace anything. It literally, if you go there is still the compact, and I say compact monitor.
Wow.
And it's still there. The only thing that changed is I used to have a little whiteboard that I drew on.
Yeah.
I replaced that with a picture of Frank Sinatra, like any good Italian kid would do.
Had to.
So...
Wow, that's crazy.
The fax machine still has the paper, like the black roll to imprint it. It's not even an ink cartridge.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So long process. Tell me a little bit about the story. How did PCS go from the bedroom to now 250 plus employees and multiple different offices?
It's crazy. It was, a lot of hard work, a lot of luck on the way. We're talking about, one of the jobs that we worked on together and where I met Mark. 25 years ago, a plastic company, the executive VP, I was working for the government. I had my little side business going nights and weekends. And they said they needed help with this plastic company. So I quit my job, didn't tell my parents. I took the gig, was 28 hours a week, 3 or 4 days a week, 3 days, 8 hours. Friday was 4 hours. So I had them and another customer, Harriet's Oil, and that pretty much funded the way. So I worked out of my little tiny spare bedroom, my parents' house, hired my first person who ironically was the gentleman that packed up my computer at the government. So when I left the government, it was very, very specific processes, right? Like they packed up like you were going to steal stuff. And I joked around with the guy as he's packing my stuff up. I'm like, you're going to work for me one day. Like, I hire a recruiter and he gets a guy who works for me.
That's hilarious.
So when I hired my second employee, my dad's like, you got to get out of the house. Like, this is me and your mother's living space. This isn't a office.
Wow.
So then we moved out and, it's funny, I get credit a lot for growing really fast. Mm-hmm. And in a way, right, we have a lot of people, 250 team members, multiple offices. But when I first started dating my wife, and I'll be married in August, 12 years, so 15 years ago, I only had 10 employees. I only had 10 team members. So we literally went from 2000 to 2010 to about 10 or 11. From 2011 to 2017, we got to 50 or 60. Right. And then we 5X'd from there. So, I mean, it's fast in a sense, but also 25 years is a long time.
Now, if you were to trace your trajectory, right, and that's an interesting story that, 10, 12 years ago is really where you hit your stride. Is there something that's common to that? Some principles, maybe? Of course, acquisitions were in the fold there, but how did it come together?
So the way I always looked at it is, right, it's about consistency. So there wasn't many like aha moments, right? But what happened was you keep going out, you keep grinding, you keep doing the right thing. And I would always say to our team, every 12 to 18 months, we're going to pick up a monster. Right. I don't know where they're going to come from. I don't know how they're going to get here, but we're going to do it. And it's always pushed us to grow, right? We picked up one nonprofit that had 181 offices east of the Mississippi. Wow. You're getting a lot of service tickets in. You got to be ready to go. One of my friends who was an outsourced CIO brought us into the largest freight shipping company in the United States. The funny story about that is I remember them calling nursing homes looking for COBOL programmers because their system was in COBOL. So even big businesses have, sometimes some crazy issues. But, I think those moments when you step up and a team bonds together, that really is what creates it, because now you know what, I can handle a 2,000 user company. I can handle 3,000 users. And I think that swag too, helps you when you're out in the community, selling and, just doing different things.
Right. Well, how have you translated kind of your DNA into your organization? You're definitely a hustler. You get after it. I mean, maybe we'll show a picture of the PCS van that you drive around in your mobile command center, which I've always thought was kind of larger than life. But
right in the parking lot.
It is. That's right out there. What have you done? How have you done that? Because it seems like you've been able to translate that. Has that been something that's been easy? How have you done it?
So for me, right, and when I started, I was a very lucky guy, right, because starting at your parents' house, 20 years old, I could tell you that people didn't join PCS for the pay, right? I could pay people. I was a kid trying to figure things out. But what I did know was how to value people, right? My dad had a bar business, and I think that's part of my DNA. My entire life growing up, my dad always had a bar. So I would go and, meet people there, learn how to talk to people. And I think that was always a little different, right? Because most computer guys, we don't like to talk to people.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But for me, I kind of had the best of both worlds. I had the business sense from growing up, the social sense from the bar, and I loved video games and I loved computers. So that all kind of married together. So I truly think that it's our culture that put us together. And I still laugh, right? 23 years ago, I started Beer 30 on Fridays. And what Beer 30 was, we were so slow every Friday. Like when I tell you dreadfully slow. So I had a folding machine, right? Again, you're going back to 2001, sure. 2002. And I had a stack of marketing materials, right? So on a Friday after 12 o'clock, you went to the folding machine. You got 100 of those things. You stuck them in an envelope because I had pre-printed labels to mail.
Sure.
And if you did 100 mailers, you'd have to have a beer with me, and then you go home early.
That's awesome.
And so every week we still do Beer 30 every 3:30.
Nice, but nobody has to fold anything anymore.
No more folding. No more folding. But I do think people know if you value them or not. I mean, just accessibility, being with the team, because how could you share your culture if you're not there with them, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a very open door policy, probably too much of an open door. Sure. But it's in our DNA.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, I don't want to say kind of like folksiness, kind of humanness that you bring to your customers too. At your size, you still, you told me at one point you'll look at service invoices periodically and shred a couple of them, call the customer and say, hey, I got you covered.
That was our holiday gifts. Yeah, back in the day. And even still, we do different things. But my favorite thing to do was I would go to a customer with 3 or 4 envelopes, right? And I'd print out a few open invoices and like, hey, Merry Christmas, pick one. The customer would look at me like, what are you doing? I said, pick one and rip it. And a couple times I got the expensive ones.
Oh, no.
It was almost like credit card roulette at dinner,
Yeah.
And the customers love that. They literally got to rip up one of their invoices as a thank you for doing business with us.
Wow.
So, and we do a lot of stuff, right? Like, obviously, if you refer us, obviously we're giving you a discount or a thank you or something, because that's how we grow. I mean, the crazy part is, too, we only have one other salesperson, really at the company. I mean, I'm out not necessarily directly selling, but,
right.
Mascotting, so to speak. Right. So we really depend on the customer referral, the partner relationships. That's our sales team.
Yeah, referrals are huge. So is it still you and Matt, or is it
me and Matt? Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I know when he started, and now he's doing great.
The crazy thing is too, if you come to the PCS and people say this all the time, especially those that've been with us for like 15, 20 years, they're like, how is it the same people? Like, it's still me, it's still Mark, it's still Tracy. Yeah. So we've had a lot of constants.
Well, because they want to be there. So then, so now there's the product offering. There's a service. There's kind of behind the shroud. What is it about PCS's offering that differentiates you in the marketplace?
So I think it's real easy, and I'm actually surprised that no one duplicated it. We got really busy really quickly when we created Liveline. And what Liveline is our customers call us at any time, morning, noon, night, whenever. You always get a live person at PCS, right? So there's never press 1, press 2. You call me at 3:53 in the morning, you're getting a live team member, right? The second thing is, while we're 250 people, no one wants to work with a bigger company, right? It's bureaucratic. It's too many processes. It's tedious. So what we did was we broke the company into small units called CSUs, client service units. So if you're a customer at PCS, when you call in, you're working with 7 to 10 team members. They know you, they know your pet's name, they know your kid's name. You're not having to explain your situation. So our service teams really only handle, say 30 to 50 clients, depending on the size. Mm-hmm. So you're creating that, small business, we know you feel. But if we got to go deeper, we have our project team, our incident response team, our field service units. So we could right size everything. But I think that's the differentiator, because if you look at a time frame, Liveline started in 2015. I bet you we had 40 people there. 10 years later, we got 250.
There's something about your no tiering structure that I want to hear about.
Yeah.
How does that work? How does that different than what people understand out in the marketplace?
So no tiering structure is basically this. Like, well, again, I hate to use Comcast, right? Please don't sue us. But you call Comcast, right? You get a level 1 tech.
Yeah.
That level 1 tech goes through the scripts and they can't solve it. So then you go to a level 2 tech. Maybe they solve it, maybe they don't. You keep getting escalated. Our service teams actually have all the tiers right in there, and they all work with each other. So if you're on with a level 1 and level 1's like immediately is going to, hey, this ain't in my range, they're going to constantly just switch you right there. So you're saving all that time and all the effort and energy because you just want your computer fixed. You want to work. You actually don't want to call PC. You're glad that we're here.
Yeah.
But no one wants to call us, right? Yeah. Because if you're calling us, that means you have a problem.
I agree. So then you have customers of various types. Some of them have their own IT and these kind of co-managed environments. Can you tell us about how you approach supporting customers with that sort of dynamic?
Yeah, and that's growing. I mean, I used to say we're IT managed service, but we're really IT managed and co-managed. And the dynamic's actually great, right? We have access to different tools that a company wouldn't want to buy or maybe can't afford to buy, right? You got your Kaseya, your ticketing system, your ConnectWise, your Huntress, which we talked about, different things. So not only do we work with the client on the co-managed side to do exactly what they don't want to do, maybe it's nights and weekends, maybe they don't want level 1 calls, so we could customize and tailor that. But the other thing I love to do is I give them access to all of our tools, and that's just included. So now they don't have to buy a ConnectWise server. They don't need a Kaseya, infrastructure. We could literally plug in all of our rules, all of our process, all of our automation. And in those relationships, it's doctor talking to doctor, right? The IT person can communicate with us at a different level than, let's say, someone that's not in the industry. So it really makes for a powerful relationship.
That's got to be pretty compelling too, because if you think about it, partly what you said earlier, why didn't people try to copy what you're doing? When you give people all those tools when they're just accessing you for something, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look, right, I always say we get 1% better every day, right? So Windows 11's coming out now. We have automatic deployment through Kaseya and through our PowerShell script. So every time that we make a new installer, every time we make a new procedure, that gets pushed out to all of our clients, and they could use it, not use it, but it's another tool in their toolkit.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the things that customers are asking you these days? What are some of the things maybe keeping them up at night that you're dealing with on a recurring basis?
Cybersecurity and AI. We could probably have a week-long podcast on just that. I mean, customers are trying, I think everyone's trying to figure out the AI side, right? Everyone knows it's powerful, but how do you actually use it? There's so many people coming out saying you need it, but they're not showing you how to use it. So that's one of the things that we're doing. I am actually with one of my groups, Bill Evans. We're getting very deep into AI over at Liberty Fox. So I'm not going to duplicate that at PCS. I will just use, my other company's resources to do that. And then on the cybersecurity side, it's kind of interesting because I own a cybersecurity company called Cyber, but in this world, the cybersecurity companies and the MSPs almost compete a little bit because we're all selling the same tool stack, right? So it's really getting that audit component in, right? Anyone could sell Huntress, anyone could sell SentinelOne, but you also want that second set of eyes looking at the network, right? Who's on top of it. So we get the best of both worlds because aside from cyber, at PCS, we have a global incident response team too. We call it the CERT. So we're cleaning a lot of Fortune 5s, Fortune 1s. It's extremely busy right now.
How big of a portion of your book is cyber?
That's a great question. I would say probably 15%, maybe 20%. It really depends because the incident response world is really feast or famine.
Right.
You could have a month where you're invoicing 500,000 or 600,000, and you could have 2 months where it's nothing. So thankfully, since we're an MSP, we're able to hold that and stay in the race because if you look at even the last 5 years, IR companies fail quickly because you're paying a lot of high-end people to sit on the bench. Yeah. So it's a mix. It's tough.
Now, is that part of the business where you're helping in part insurance claims? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Basically, what happens is someone gets breached. They call their insurance carrier. The carrier then will get their legal team involved. And we're part of a group of really five different companies, right? There's us that's doing the rebuild, restoration of Active Directory, decryption. You have the forensic folks that actually tell you where these people got in and work with the lawyers because every state has different reporting requirements. You have actually threat negotiators, right? And this is kind of wild. It's almost like a baseball card, right? Like, oh, this is the dark Nike group. If you offer 80% of what they asked for, there's a 75% chance that they'll give you the decryption key.
Oh my.
Like it's stats, right? It's real. And then you have your lawyers and your insurance. I mean, there's a lot of people involved with this, and it's fast and furious when they happen.
Oh, so let's talk a little bit more broadly about the conglomerate that's you and your businesses. Tell me about the different businesses that exist, how they work together, and really what your vision is for that as it continues forward.
So interesting. So started obviously as really the PC pro, right? I was a residential IT guy 25 years ago, morphed into PCS. Why? Because IBM could do it, right? International Business Machines, right? Hewlett Packard.
Right.
Okay, PCS, not smart with SEO because Metro PCS has a slightly larger budget.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about being an MSP is most people don't know technology, right? If I say I'm an MSP or I fix computers, oh, you write software programs. So we're always the first call. Hey, do you do mobile apps? Hey, do you do cabling? Hey, do you do this? Well, you don't have to be that smart. When I start getting a lot of calls in a particular area, I look to invest in companies that do that. And, got in the TTR, which is a mini me. Got in the Liberty Fox with Bill Evans, probably about 4 years ago, but I've been working with him for 10 years. Me and Mike founded Cyber, Mike Nelson, that's our cybersecurity company. So really, the interesting thing is what I see in the industry, a lot of MSPs try to do everything. And if you try to do everything, you're not going to do everything well. So I've always stayed in my lane with PCS, but by investing in these other companies, I can offer a broad suite of solutions while being involved, but letting the experts do what they know, right? I am not a forensic expert. I cannot run a software development company, but I have people who can. And what I always like to say, since PCS is the biggest company of the group, we're the sun, right? So we try to shine light on all the other companies, whether it's referrals, learning from mistakes that maybe I made over the years. How do we make things better, faster, quicker?
So Anthony, what are some of the trends you're seeing with AI, automation, cybersecurity? There's a lot going on there. Give us a little rundown.
Yeah, there's a lot. So the AI and the cybersecurity are actually really combining up, right? Back in the day, if you needed a penetration test, you have a person come to your office, maybe try to hit you remotely, break your locks, do all this stuff. Now the insurance companies are accepting online penetration tests, and AI is working constantly with that, right? So you're seeing a lot of that. You're looking at a lot of the advanced antivirus, EDR. They actually use AI to learn, and they're constantly learning and growing. It's scary. I am not going to lie. Some of the stuff I'm saying, I mean, even with us, right? All of our technicians, and ironically enough, on the way here, I just saw the check got cashed for $50,000 for our Chat GPT agents. So we're turning our technicians into RoboCop, right? Yeah. So I can't say this for all companies, right? But we're using AI to enhance our team members' capabilities, not to replace people.
Right.
But you're seeing a ton of it in marketing. You're seeing a ton of it in market research. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the conversations where you're preparing your existing clients, and maybe this may mean also offering them new services or helping to augment what they already have using these new tools?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, like right now with the AI space, we're really trying to look at areas where we can add value, right? There's too many people, like I go to these AI meetings and they're like, look at this, I could translate from English to Chinese on Zoom. Like, that's cool, but when do you need that, right? You don't. Yeah. What I'm finding is a lot of these AI implementers aren't really finding ways to be effective, right? So let's go case in point, right? Nonprofits. We work with a ton of nonprofits. One of the biggest issues that nonprofits have is grant writing. Those grants that fund them take a long time. You could prompt a learning language model to fill out 80% of those grants, and you could feed in past responses.
Yeah, easily.
That adds a lot of value. We could show people that, right? Manufacturing, when it's looking at line machines and different things for products, okay, well, that product's a defect, kicked it off. So we're really trying to go there to show people what they need first and then piggyback off of that. Because if you think about AI as a whole, right, it's too much. It's like cybersecurity, right? I could sell you every tool on the planet, right? But if you have EDR and two-factor, you're going to solve 99% of your problems. So it's about getting that base. Like on the cybersecurity side too, right? You could put every tool in place, but let's say Adobe has a 0 day, which means it's a flaw that hasn't been released. You want to have the layers to protect you, right? Okay, you have your two-factor, you have your EDR. Okay, do you have a backup? Okay, do you have an offsite backup? Is it immutable, which means it can't be changed? And as long as you have enough layers, you're eventually going to protect yourself. So our job is to figure out with people's budget and time to get to those layers. And, again, with AI and cybersecurity, it's a never ending game.
Yes.
It's like working out, right? You can't go to the gym one day a week for 10 hours and you're good for a month. You gotta keep going.
That's true. Now, what I liked about your response is there's customized tools that you're doing, very custom tools, because you have that capability with your development teams. What are maybe some other more run-of-the-mill, tools that are newer to the market that customers should be paying attention to that they can implement that utilize, either new advancements in cybersecurity or new advancements in AI?
So, one, we talked Huntress, right? That's a great product, uses AI. Another thing that people don't realize is when they have Office 365, when the hackers go in, they make mail rules on the server that you don't even know exists, and that's how they read you and track you. So having an AI tool to read your Microsoft rules, right?
Sure.
So that's an important one. There's zero trust tools out there, right? And what zero trust means, and I'll give a great example. If you look at like ThreatLocker, right? So let's say we have approved that you could download Adobe, right? You could do it without us, whatever you need. You might go on Google and type in download Adobe. A lot of times people don't look. You might download a product that looks like Adobe, works like Adobe, and smells like Adobe, but it's not the official release. And what that means is they could have a virus, a Trojan implanted into it. So what those zero trust systems do, they would look at it and say, the hash ID for Adobe that you approved is different than this. You can't install it. It would kick it to us, and then we would run some tools on it. So, things like that. What I'm also saying, not so much in terms of protection, but there's a lot of clever people doing very different things with Microsoft Copilot to organizing their email. So it's literally reading their emails for them, knows who you are, and it knows the difference between, okay, this is urgent and important, urgent but not as important, and it will actually summarize you and make you a bit of an email ninja.
Oh, it sounds wonderful, man, because email,
oh yeah,
I'm a little bit tired of it. Let's talk about security. With threats constantly evolving, how's PCS staying ahead and helping protect clients?
So the main reason we're staying ahead is our CERT team. It's our critical incident response team. So we have team members that are just dedicated to fighting global ransomware. And I could tell you last month is the busiest month we've ever had in history doing this. And we're about 5 years. So when we started the CERT team, we were cutting edge, man. We were bleeding edge. I would go to these conferences and we had no competition. Now everyone has a shingle up. The secret's out. We had a good two and a half year run with nothing. But that being said, there's enough hacking out there for everyone.
Right.
And we're seeing the stuff when it hits, and the ways that these companies are getting compromised, it's unbelievable. What I will say, it's still the human element, right? It's people making mistakes. But I can tell you, these Fortune 5s and Fortune 1s, it's not that they're not spending the money on protection, right? They have a great budget, but it's just, you have too many different tools, right? I was looking at one where they were, they're 0 day now on a bunch of firmware. They're actually hitting the processing chips and things like that. And it's a big business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So
tell us a story. I'm sure you have quite a few, but where you helped someone avoid an attack or maybe recover. That could be a good one too, where you got in there and you're able to recover. Tell us a story.
So recovery, we've done 200 of those. I can't, from the NDAs, talk about some of the companies, but I'll tell you one that happened recently, and this was in partner with Huntress. We have a very large union that we support. And they process the benefits, and they have a lot of workers, and we have our tools installed. And there's a third-party company that they use to access their system and transfer data. Well, the VPN of that company was hacked, giving the hacker basically access to sit on their network. They had a payload that they were going to distribute that was going to encrypt all the data, take everything up to the cloud. Our Huntress tool noticed there was something wrong, isolated that machine, went to their SOC, called us. We would have had probably 50,000 people's names, social security numbers. They would have got leaked. They would have been on the dark web. One I can talk about, though, is I covered a story, and this is a terrible one. There was a health system over in Pennsylvania, and they were ransomware. And they did not do the right thing. They did not notify anyone or do anything. And it was actually my uncle's law firm, Mongeluzo, spelled differently than mine. One of his attorneys was actually on air with me at Fox 29, and they were leaking naked pictures of females that had breast cancer.
Oh, no.
So obviously it was invasive. It was personal. Like, one, you don't want the picture leaked, but two, you're fighting cancer, right? So aside from that, my company Cyber went on the dark web, and we were able to find that data, and it, worked towards a settlement resolution. At least it doesn't take away the pain of what happened to those people. But again, another case of hackers, just doing what hackers do. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business for them, right? But I can tell you this month, we've had, I think, 24 to 26 different cases of restoration. And these are big companies, like some of the largest in the world that you use something from them every day.
Right. Wow. All right. So Anthony, you've been a Profound authorized agent even before it was named that. It was just us having a relationship and sending referrals to each other. What made you decide to work with us in the first place? How's the relationship gone with customers you've brought to us?
So a couple things. One, we like to stay in our lane, right? As I mentioned earlier, the MSPs, they want to do everything, right? I really want to be a one-trick pony. And I'm happy to admit that, because I feel like there's riches and niches. And if you're really good at something, you're going to do fine. So I never wanted to get in the AV world. I think it's cool. I love it. I want to have AV, and I want to have a great partner. So basically the partnership allows us to offer your services and to fill a need, right? At PCS, our culture is, and an ad agency interviewed our people and our customers, came up with the catchphrase, the most helpful company in the world, the most helpful IT company in the world. Well, if someone has AV needs and I can't help them, how am I being helpful? Right. So, I mean, just recently, we have a great client, DWK Life Sciences. My friend Jeff's the CEO. I met him 20 years ago, plus as a CFO of another customer we work at. My mentor, actually, Gene Concordia, works there as well. And our team members, we have 250, so not everyone knows who our partners are. Sure. Thankfully, an email went out. Customer had some very specific AV needs, what they were looking to do. And I can refer you because I trust you, right? Because it's the same thing. If I refer you and you did a horrible job, that's coming back at me. I'm getting the black eye too, right? So I can tell you we have a 100% success rate, so it makes it nice and easy.
That's great. Yeah, and we appreciate that. There's that. And I think we also recently working with a law firm in the city that you helped us with, so thank you for that.
Yep.
For other IT companies considering maybe working with Profound, what would you suggest to them?
I would say to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're an IT company, stick to what you do, right? You're not a video company, you're not a TV company, and you're not going to offer the same level that you can offer, right? One, you're going to get bigger discounts because that's all you do. You have your partnerships, your know-how. Yeah, maybe they could figure something out close, but it might take them 100 hours where it's going to take you 20. Yeah. And again, leave it to the experts. That's why with all the companies I've invested in, I can help them from a balance sheet perspective, a P&L, share metrics, share different things. I'm not telling them how to do their job. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I know what the outcome I want, but you're going to be the guys to come up with the roadmap to that outcome. I
think it's funny because when I was in IT over 25 years ago before we started Profound, I kind of knew the environment then, and it was different. It was co-location. Oh yeah. It was like physical, firewalls and everything. But when I got into AV, I just knew how different they were.
It's so different.
And so I thought to myself, thinking about the agent program, I knew a lot of IT companies, including you. So why don't I go to them and say, hey, listen, you're doing all this complex IT work when you're literally sitting at the boardroom table and the customer says, how can you do my boardroom? If I were to introduce myself to you, that would make a lot of sense because you can be helpful to them in that way. And it's really worked out well. I mean, we work with close to 500 IT companies across the country. Yeah, at this point. It just started with an idea from when I was in IT. So,
and I think it makes sense, right? I used to have a group before COVID, and I'd love to bring it back, right? It was called the Outsource Group. And what I did was, because look, we're outsourced IT, right? You're outsourced AV, right? So I brought together all these different partners over in South Jersey that the only requirement was it has to be a service that you have to either choose to insource or outsource, right? So we didn't have insurance companies or bankers, right? Like, you're not going to start your own bank, let's be honest, right? So, but those folks, kind of like you and I, know how to refer each other. They understand the value of outsourcing and the benefit, right? So fractional CFOs, fractional chief marketing officers, and we all have the same pitch, right? You're going to get better service. You're going to get smarter service. You're going to save money. So it was just a great group. But then, COVID, no one to get together. So kind of flopped out. But it generated a lot of referrals for us.
I bet. Yeah, it makes sense. So I've been waiting all day about this part. This is the fun part. Talk to me about the tech tank and how it's developed over time. I mean, you might be on what, Rev 3 or 4?
Number 3, TT3.
What is the tech tank?
So the tech tank started about 13 years ago. And the reason it actually had the name the tech tank was my marketing agency, White Penny. They do a great job. They made this. So I had a GMC Arcadia, which, by the way, I don't know how to get killed in that thing. I bought this GMC Arcadia. I ripped out the middle seats. I actually built a desk like this with a titanium leg that would push into the ground, so the button would go, and like lock it in, because you're bouncing around going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever. And I hired a driver. So my initial concept of the tech tank was I was in a car accident because I was texting and driving. So it was my fault. I was wrong. The next week...
Did you get the deal? No, I'm just...
Yeah. I hope I did. So the next week, I'm at the same light where I hit someone. I get rear-ended, right? So now I can't help that, right?
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? If I'm in the car, I'm going to text and drive. Like, okay, I got into an accident. In a month, I'm going to forget, So I'm like, what if I could just turn the highway into an office? So I got this little GMC Arcadia, had the desk built in, 2 monitors, ripped the seat out next to me, had a printer, scanner, copier. And that thing went great for like 5 or 6 years. Well, my one driver left. He got a job at a manufacturing company. Had a new driver who said, why don't we do something fun? I could drive the big stuff. So I went and I got a Ford, the Sprinter. What was a Ford? Ford was a Transit. So it was a Transit, which we still have. So now I put, TVs all around. I put a refrigerator. I actually pulled out one of the seats, made like a bar. So if you're taking clients out to a sports game or an event, then I have multiple monitors. So I literally have a mobile office, and I'm in this thing at that point 30 plus hours a week. Fast forward again, I got 8, 9 years old. I got the Mercedes, a little longer, a little taller. And I actually switched from a PC to a Mac, satellite internet and the whole thing, because I suck down, believe it or not, about a terabyte a month.
Wow. It's
a lot of data, because the Macs, especially with the way they transfer data and emails and all that. So now my new tech tank has a lot of the same features as the old one, right? We still have the refrigerator. I still have my Zoom conferencing. I still have my multiple monitors, but we added a bathroom. And as we like to say in Tech Tank 3, rule number 1 is no number 2s. And this is gonna sound so first world.
Yeah.
When we're in a car now that doesn't have a bathroom, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Like literally, you're on the highway. As long as you're going straight, you can go. So it's so productive. It has been a game changer for my business. It's a moving billboard, right? The thing's huge.
Yeah.
And we've done some cool stuff with it. I've been on Fox 29 News for the last 16 years. And when they went digital on the weekend show, hashtag Fox 29 Weekend, we were actually doing segments live on the road from the tech tank.
That's awesome.
And even recently, last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of stuff over for Fox 13 over in Tampa. I'll be on the golf course, it's like 12th hole. One of the producers like, hey, can you do a segment on this? Passwords got hacked, or hospital systems, whatever. I have all my clothes in there.
Right.
I leave the 12th hole, get driven back in with the cart, and I missed 2 holes. I film my segment. We go live out of there because I have all the studio utilities in the car. Put my golf shirt back on, and away we go.
That's amazing. Now, have you kept track of how many deals you've closed in the tech tank?
Couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in that thing, like I said, 14 years. So, and what the other byproduct of it is, like, I'll meet someone 3 years later if I don't see him, like, you're that guy with the crazy car, So, you want to be memorable.
Oh, yeah.
And it definitely makes you memorable. And I got to tell you, productive. I mean, the tech tank's not just a business tool, right? It's a family tool. I have, 2 young daughters, 8 and 10. I have a wife. And when I'm leaving dinner, I'm doing my emails. So then when I get home, I'm not on my phone.
Right.
Everything's done. So imagine what I would say to everyone. If you could get 24 hours a week on average, uninterrupted, is it worth it?
Oh, of course, without a doubt.
So, and then all the other stuff, right? Whether it's people calling us, do I need to sell you that I could have you work from home, but I could work from 295? Right? We're living the dream.
Anthony, this has been a great conversation. Thank you. I really admire how you balance the visionary side of entrepreneurship with delivering great service day in and day out. To our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about PCS and Anthony's broader work, head to helpmepcs.com or connect with Anthony on LinkedIn. And if you're an IT provider looking to expand your offering with best-in-class AV solutions, visit our website to learn more about becoming a Profound Authorized Agent. Thanks for joining us on a Profound Sit Down. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected.